Hi, and welcome to another episode of Dungeons & Degrees. My name's Adrian.
And I'm Alex.
And today, Alex is going to do the intro to our guest.
I still don't. I was not prepared. I was unprepared. Today we have Curtis. Curtis, fucking introduce yourself.
That's our old intro.
Tell you what, you know what? I've had worse passovers. Hi, I'm Curtis. I am a producer and GM and tech jockey, I guess, is one of my many titles. Technically, we are award-winning, but it sounds unbelievably gauche, and I still don't know how I feel about it, but technically we are an award-winning channel over at 5% Chance, an actual play production company and supporter of all things TTRPG. In the space. We've been running for about, I think, 3 years live, like streaming pretty consistently on Twitch for about 3 years, but we've been running for about 5 overall. And yeah, it's been a wild adventure in the RPG scene and getting into the community and seeing what the world has to offer, which is so much more than this cis white brown hair with a beard and glasses man would have you admit.
But listen, as a gatekeeper, I mean, like, it's your job.
Yeah, I'm swinging the gates open. Everybody fucking come on in. I'm the worst gatekeeper. I'm the Spartan that went over to Xerxes and was like, yes, do you know about the goat path? And like, I lost us the Battle of Thermopylae, and that's okay because the Spartans were eugenicists. I'm fuck.
So many hot takes immediately.
Hey.
As soon as I said it, I was like, oh man, I'm never going to get invited back. It's been approximately 2.5 minutes of recording.
Hey, man.
Hi.
It's fine. I don't think that's the hottest take we've had.
It's not the hottest take.
Okay. I got time. I'll warm up.
Oh, this is the warm-up. Okay, good.
Okay,
Good.
Cool. Tight. Nice. Tight.
Yeah, dude, we had so much conversation before this started, and it's all gone because we had to wait on Alex.
I mean, it was a lot of. Yeah, I'm glad some of it wasn't recorded, but that's okay. Oh, all right.
Alex.
Well, now we can talk about whatever.
Yeah, we can talk about Alex.
Alex, come back.
Yeah, by me.
Man, it's starting. And I just can't record without you.
Bam.
Alex, come back. Listen, I didn't get the fun. I got the fun, like, weird harmonies in the middle because I was always like a baritone or like a trumpet too. So I got all the fun harmonies. But if you sing the harmonies by yourself, it's boring. And everyone's like, "What the fuck? Are you just bad at the song?" I'm like, "No, I'm great at it, just not the part you listen to."
Yeah, exactly. Alex is protesting. We support you. We won't break union lines, but there are people here that want to talk about it. So I will continue without you. I'm so sorry. Not sorry. You're choking on a pretzel. Isn't that how George almost died?
A scab.
Another fine Texan got killed by another pretzel. More or less. Okay, cool. Sorry for the listeners at home. Alex is doing a lot of miming.
I took a lot of pretzel in my mouth all at once.
Oh, yeah, that's what she said.
Hey, did y'all see that a teacher got hit so hard in the face that they lost an eyeball this week?
No, is this
You're gonna
Dallas?
What?
Not in Dallas. Not Carrollton. Somewhere around here. A student was having a meltdown and was throwing chairs. He threw a chair.
Yeah,
I guess it's a principal. Threw a chair at the principal. Principal bats it out of the way. Throws another assistant principal comes in. He throws a chair. No, she catches that first chair. I'm sorry. This is important to the story. She catches the first chair. He throws a second chair. She knocks it out of the way with the other chair. Throws a third chair, and she knocks it out of the way. And then he threw something else, and it hit her square in the eye, and it popped her eyeball out. Boop. We're doing great here.
What in the goddamn Waffle House is going on down there?
Just normal Texas things.
No, it's not a gun, so...
Oh, it's unnormal, unnatural Texas things.
It's not a gun.
No guns allowed in schools. They have to improvise.
Yeah, chairs. WWE.
And that's how we get back into D&D. We're talking about improvising today. No, just kidding.
I thought you were going to say no guns allowed, which I can also roll with. I can also use that as a segue to get into D&D and other RPGs.
I think we could literally use any segue to get into D&D. Let's
Except actual segues.
You don't think we could have a segue TTRPG? You don't think that
Well,
could be
the guy who made the segue died from a segue, and we're talking about death saves today.
Oh God,
Is that a real fact?
my camera froze, and I was like, "Is that really the end of this stream for me?"
I think so, or it's just something people say on the internet all the time.
Okay, well, good.
think
This is delightful. What?
So
okay.
the former owner, it's not the guy who invented it. It's the former owner of the company who died because he drove one off. It jammed on full and it drove him off a cliff.
So rather than jumping off of it and letting the Segway go into the great beyond, he said, "I'm never letting go, Jack."
He believed in the product. And isn't that what great CEOs you want helming your company?
So per the Wikipedia article, because I have the neurodivergency that goes, what does Wikipedia tell me about this? He was riding his Segway while walking his dog. Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right, dude. To be fair, at the time he was born in 48. This was in 2010. So he's in his 70s. Okay. Assisted mobility. Great. Your product is working as intended. He reversed the Segway. He was backing up to allow a fellow dog walker to get past him, and then he fell from the cliff. So he backed up too far. The coroner concluded that Hesselden had died of, quote, multiple blunt force injuries of the chest and spine consistent with a fall whilst riding a gyro bike. I don't like the use of whilst and gyro bike in the same sentence because it feels like an 18th century doctor got lost and wrote this article.
But the assumption can be made that he lived in that community for at least a little bit, right? And you have a dog, so you are aware of the walking paths. Why did you not know where the end of the cliff was?
I don't know.
Why do you have a cliff in your community?
Well, that's some rich
I
people.
mean, he was rich. Rich people do stupid things.
Right.
No, rich people do dumb shit all the time.
Yep.
I got no answers. Except watch out when you're driving a Segway. Make sure you don't back up off a cliff, because that would be a terrible way to go.
Or you're back up into this conversation. No, just kidding.
Back up in... No.
One of these Segways is going to stick, I promise.
They're not going to stick. I'm waiting for Alex to do something.
Why is it always me?
Always you? Always. Yeah. Curtis has listened to enough episodes to know that it's not always you. You said...
Speaking of listening to prior episodes, I do have a segue.
No.
Listening to the GenCon episode, you talked about a t-shirt cannon.
Oh.
I have an alternate solution that is on brand.
Okay.
Trebuchet.
Too small.
A small-ish trebuchet. It does not have to sit on the table. It can sit next to the table. And if somebody answers a question, you just thump. And it's easy to reload. It's easy to operate. You can keep everything bundled. Everything will be fine. Catapult is going to be harder and also is under tension more, which is going to make the people at the con a little nervous.
Okay, but a trebuchet is still going to be too long range for the...
Where's your microphone set up to ask questions?
Okay, so in standard panel rooms, it's 4.5 feet from front row to... So either one...
Those.
No, what? That's not fair. You sit in the front row, you want the trebuchet.
I
You sit in the panel and you want the
trebuchet
experience. We just
or you could get one of those. Okay, Alternate solution. You get one of those football launchers that they use for football practice for consistent passes. And it's got the spinning discs, and you're just like, cool, hey, thanks for your question. Thump, and just like lob it at them. Softball machine.
The softball machine does not. I don't know if you've ever been hit by one. Fuck that. No.
I have.
Why?
Because I don't know how to get out of the way. I'm bad. My camera's frozen. I'm so
good. Stop.
No, just staying on the same image.
So I said, love, that's not my pen. Anyway, welcome back to Dungeons and Degrees.
Who's staring Alex?
I am not. Listen.
The steering wheel was left unsupervised.
I am not.
I said, Alex, here you go. This is your episode.
And then I hot potato back to you. And then Curtis picked it up. So Curtis.
Hi. Yes, that's me.
No, actually, I do have. What was I? That was my. I have it written down. Why am I looking? Just.
Okay.
It missed the top of my.
I get you.
Because I can roll my R's, Adrian. Can you roll your R's?
Carro.
Okay, good.
I don't know. I have to.
That?
It's like I have to rev it up, you know. That's it. That's as far as I go.
Is that you revving up your car?
Yeah, that's what my fucking white van sounds like.
Your panel van?
Yeah. It doesn't
Who
have any windows.
Who are you picking up in your panel van, Adrian?
Bingo supplies.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Feels like such a small van. It's not a paneled van. Like that's not what we imagine when we say paneled van.
Listen,
Don't judge the man on the size of his van.
Yeah.
Get out of
this is very sizes.
Mom and Dad is fighting. Mom and Dad is fighting? Oh my god. Cool.
The implications.
I
don't like it.
Gonna leave all of those. Alex, you have a question for me.
Hey Curtis.
God, I hope so.
Tell me how'd you get into TTRPGs? Fuck off, Adrian. Put the tongue away.
So, great question, Alex. So I started out in my freshman year of college. I was at an honors college outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, because I was that kid. I was the first one in my class of kids to fail out of the honors college because I was that kid. And it was one of those things where you put a bunch of neurodivergent nerds that I have no idea what we're doing in a single building. It was one of the only buildings on campus that had traditional style dorms where it was two people in one living space. So a lot of people decided I don't want to live with my roommate and kind of camped out in one of the classrooms that was in the building. And we found each other. We found our tribe, and our tribe was a little eccentric. But people were playing D&D, and I was like, oh, I'd always wanted to play this. I'd never gotten into RPGs. It had never been a thing that crossed my radar. And it was 4th edition, heyday of 4th edition. So getting into it, learning about it. I watched a couple of games, and then somebody was like, hey, I want to start a campaign. And I was like, sure, I'll jump in. I've never done this before. Built my first character, kind of got a feel for it, and was like, oh, this would be really fun. And our player was like, or our GM was like, oh, I'm kind of running out of steam. I got a lot of stuff going on. And I'm like, I don't need to study or do anything. I can run a game. And that game ended very interestingly. I railroaded an ending because I really wanted an ending. I really wanted a specific ending. And I kind of forced the issue because I was like, we'll do another campaign and it'll be great. And all of my players were like, that ending was super unsatisfying and I don't want to play anymore. And that kind of ended. That was the end of 4th edition. That was the end of me playing 4E. And then 2014, 5th edition came out. And people wanted to play. People bought the books. I was broke as fuck at the time. So I did the natural best thing and I won them on a bet. So I won my copy of the PHB Monster Manual and Dungeon Master's Guide on a bet, which I was totally okay with. And then from there, played a little bit, ran a couple of campaigns, ran a Harry Potter campaign, which don't modify 5th edition to be a Harry Potter campaign. It does not work. Just don't do it. Apparating is, just don't. But, and then that was like post-college, living with friends, and then took a breather, kind of walked away from it for a while, because like I was like, I'm done, I'm not having a great time. And then two of my friends that I knew from back home, Chris and Josh. Chris went to Josh and said, hey, I want to play D&D. I've never done it before and I don't know how. And Josh goes, I know the perfect guy, and calls me out of the blue and says, hey, do you want to get back into D&D? Chris wants to play, people want to play, let's give it a shot. I was fairly settled. I had time in my schedule. I was like, sure, why not? It's 2019. I can do this on the side. And then things occurred. A full-scale panini happened, and it was like, well, I'm stuck at home. We can play every week. We can set up a schedule. We can kind of get this thing going. And then someone was like, well, what if we record it? We can make it a podcast. I was like, we're 6 white dudes and 1 female presenting human. Like, sure, who better to have a podcast than 6 white guys from like North Central Pennsylvania? Mm-hmm. And then it turned into, well, if we're already recording it, let's just live stream it and then put the recordings up. And at that point I was like, hold on, this is a job. This is a full-time job. All right. Made an LLC, did all the business things, and was like, if we're going to do this, let's do this. And so that game became the Ash and Shade Committee. Ash and Shade Committee. Sorry, let me put all the consonants in there. That has been running for almost weekly for 5 years, which is always, people are like, you played that much? I'm like, yeah, it was a bitch, but we got there, and I'm hopefully wrapping it up at the end of this December. And then I will go into my shelf of all the other RPGs that I have and get my friends to play those, because I got a little burnout on D&D after 5 years, and Wizards of the Coast being wizards of not nice people. And just like, that got me back into the world and seeing all the other games that there are to play, and sort of snowballing into, okay, cool, let's see what else we can do. And while going on that adventure, I've met a lot of people that have great ideas for games or have ideas for streams they want to run, but they don't have necessarily the technical background or the hardware to run a stream. So I was like, well, one of the things we can do is we can offer up the platform that we've made. We can offer production services, because my day job is in theater. I am trained as a theatrical technician. So that makes my job, the skill transfer is very, very easy over to setting up a live stream and running all of that. So folks come to us and they're like, hey, I have an idea for a short, like 5 or 6 arc. And I go, cool, let's sit down, let's talk about it. We'll provide the production support so the GM and the players can just play their game and play the game they want to play without having to worry about all the technical elements. And that's sort of that's worked pretty well, and we've met a lot of people, and we have folks that are like, hey, I really want to do this, but I have no idea how, and they talk to myself and the rest of my production team, and we help dreams become reality. But like, that's what I did in theater anyway. It's just now I'm running the show and getting to work with people that I like and tell stories that I like, because, you know, as I kind of made a joke about earlier, there's enough of dudes that look like me with podcasts and actual plays. I love getting out of the way and going, hey, go show off whatever it is you think is cool, what you think is important, and tell the stories that I can't tell. And this is a way that I'm comfortable using my voice and my platform to elevate that. So that's how I got into D&D.
It's not how you got into it. It's how you got into it and stayed to it.
Yeah.
Yes. Because you also fell out and came back. Like,
yeah, I did. Oh my God, I fell out so hard. I fell out real hard.
I've had similar. I had a fight with my friends from college about like what we're supposed to do because they like called me up a day early, and I used to prep, and now I don't at all. Anyways, I prepped a lot of stuff for that service. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be kind of devoid. It's gonna be off to the side. I made this whole dungeon. I just need okay, but I didn't tell them that I needed them to go into this fucking hole, this dungeon. I need you to go here. They're like, nah, I don't want to do that. And me being very young and very like, I need you to go there. I'm just gonna cast spells. He's like, that's bullshit. I'm like, okay, yeah. Listen, you don't want to play. I don't want to play either. Okay, let's just fucking stop. And then we stopped.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's. I've absolutely had those times where it's like, okay, hey, I understand you can do, like, honestly, even when I was streaming, I almost quit like halfway through because I had just gotten my hands on Mothership, the alien, like a sci-fi horror RPG.
Yeah.
And my friends were like, oh my God, this would be so much fun to play. And we sat down and started playing, and a couple of them got a little hammered, and what was supposed to be like just a fairly straightforward horror one-shot, they were turning into a farce and turning into, like, they were not in it for the same reasons everybody else was. And I made my excuses and was like, man, I gotta go home, like, I'm exhausted. I drove an hour back at like 3 a.m. and was just in the car in the dark on my own, just being like, am I fucking cut out for this? Is this really what I want to do? Because it was like, it was the misunderstanding of, here's what I came in. It's that player buy-in. Here's what I want everyone going in to have the same idea of what we're in for. If it's this goofy fun one shot, awesome. I want everyone to sign on for that before we get started. If 2 people get shit-faced and and are ruining the fun for everybody, that's when we stop and we do something else.
Right.
And because that's not, the people who are having fun are doing so at the expense of the rest of the table, and at expense of me, the guy who's put in all this prep. Like, while we were at this barbecue and everyone's having fun, I was like, cool, I had my food, but I was busy prepping so we could have a good time when the sun went down. And since everyone was continuing to have a good time, I felt like the spoil sport, being like, hey, this isn't what I had in mind. And like doing the kind of thing where like, there's a little railroady because this is what I want. And that collective player buy-in of like, especially one-shots. Hey, it's a one-shot. I'm going to present you a hook. Just grab it. Just grab the hook. Let's make this whole thing easier and get past the awkward 10 minutes at the top of a one-shot. Let's just get into the meat of it. Also, please interrupt me, because I've done podcasts before, and I will talk for 2 uninterrupted hours if I'm given momentum.
You're the guest. This is like...
Yes, I want you to ask me questions instead of just letting me go. I will word vomit everywhere. You will have 4 hours of content, and it won't be a group discussion. It's just me.
That's fine. I mean...
Give this man a podcast.
No, again.
Give this white man a podcast.
There's not enough
man
of
needs
us.
a podcast.
Never
My
been
hair's
done
been
before.
dyed. I'm different.
I swear, I'm different.
I'm queer coded. It's fine.
So what do you with the 5%?
5% chance. Yep, because you have
How
a 5% chance of a natural 20 or a natural 1.
No, that's a 10% chance.
You have a 5% chance of one of those results.
Yes. Thank you,
that
teacher.
debate with somebody. No, I was looking at the logo and I was like, that's not right. That's a 10% chance.
It's you can't have both. It's fine. Anyway, Adrian, what was your question? I'm so sorry.
Okay. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, are you getting flustered, Adrian? Adrian,
Not
how the tables
flustered.
have turned. It looks
I was thinking about math for a second, and I said I don't want to get into it. I didn't want to get into it. That's why I had to stop myself. It wasn't like, oh, this is too much for me. I'm trying to. I'm like, fine. Listen, I'll fucking here. I'm grabbing. That's okay. I got it. Okay, don't worry about it. I got it. Okay, don't worry about it. I just threw it on the floor. Okay, 5% chance.
Yes.
What games are being run right now, Is it just anybody? How do people come to you with questions, things like that about producing?
Right now, we're kind of, because most of my players, it started out as a home game, most of my players are teachers. August is a frantic month because they're all music teachers and they all have marching band. So they're all like, August is no go. And I'm like, okay, great. We'll pause that. We're usually running a 5th edition game. Ideally, if I can get my players there and get to a finale, we'll be wrapping that up in December. But also currently we're doing a charity stream for Palestine Children's Relief Fund and Save the Children, which is 5 Monster of the Week one-shots with a different cast, and you can donate to adjust things because, again, we're a Switzerland. We're a neutral platform. None of the folks that are currently on the stream have any stake in the platform. So it's a nice kind of neutral place to bring everybody. And also it lets people cross-pollinate differently, which is kind of nice. But for getting in there, usually we'll get we'll send out casting calls if we have ideas, or folks will reach out to us on Instagram, on TikTok, on all of the social medias and go, hey, I've got an idea for a game. And we sit down and we go, okay, what's your idea? Give me your elevator pitch and why. It's an old dramaturgy thing. Why this game now? Like, why do you think what are you hoping to show with this game? Because if it's just, I want to play a fun game with my friends, okay, I want a little more than that. I want a little more than just, this will be fun and goofy, or something a little atypical. Because if you're gonna, there are plenty of other people making very similar stuff that we are. There's plenty of people running games. There's folks with better production quality. They're playing in person on an actual stage. What the advantage for us is we can pull from the unbelievably diverse backgrounds of everybody we play with. We can show up in ways that you can't always in an in-person space, because we're scattered all over the place.
Yep. And
we can help grab people, and we're not really concerned about, oh, you don't have enough followers. Because we had one stream where a huge focus was on numbers and metrics and how do we make this make money? Which ultimately, it's a business. We want to at least cover our own costs. But during that conversation and running that game as a producer, I was super uncomfortable with the hyperfixation on numbers and money, because I've never been interested in that as a player, as a GM, as a person, right? It's not, for me, I don't care who's got the most followers on any social media platform. I want to know, are you a cool person? How are you to sit down at a table with and have a conversation and talk about things other than D&D? Because there are some people that have encyclopedic knowledges of the game.
Yeah.
That are not fun to hang out with when you're not playing the game. And then there are vice versa. There are people that are like, I'm not really sure how to play the game, but they are comfortable in who they are, and they're people outside of the game. And there's not this for me, it's, I want to get to know people. I want to make friends. I want to spend time around the table outside of the game. I hope that answered the question, because I've kind of lost the original thread.
Yeah,
it's fine.
You picked up on how people can reach you, and you've talked about what you're looking for personally as a producer. So that covered the basis, in my opinion. Yeah. I think that's great. I mean, having, like you said, the rules lawyer thing. There's people who understand their position as rules lawyer, and they're like, I get it. It can be that way. Listen, in the end, you're the DM. I'm gonna let you do your thing, but here's the rules as written, yada yada yada. So usually I'm like, yeah, I defer to rules lawyer. Thank you for actually
keep me honest. Yeah.
Keep me honest. Keep me to as long my big thing is okay, if you're gonna focus on X, Y, and Z, if it starts to not be fun because we're doing it, we need to talk. We need to talk again.
Yeah. It's also the people that are one particular individual that really ground my gears in a home game was someone who oh, we're fighting this monster, flip, 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 in the monster, like, pulled out the monster manual and is looking at the stat block. And I'm like, that's not, you and I are playing a very different game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here because I'm a dwarf grave cleric who's avenging his dead wife who was resurrected. And when people die, I turn them into statues because my family built statues for a mausoleum. Like, that's my thing. And you're here to min-max a monk and know all the stats of the black dragon we're fighting. We are two different. Are we playing the game or are we telling a story? And that's where that breakdown is, especially with D&D, because D&D starts out as a war game. It starts out as so number crunchy, but the game doesn't stand if you take that away. It's so hard to pare back Dungeons and Dragons as a whole while still keeping it the same game that people played in 1978 in Gary Gygax's living room.
Yeah.
you can't take that away from what the game is. And I am less and less interested in the crunchy mechanics of it, because that, to me, there is so much legwork in that if I want that crunchy tactical game, I will play a video game. I will play XCOM. I will play something else. If 5 feet of spacing matters, I'm less interested. If a fireball is exactly 20 feet and no further, and you're not going to give me 5 feet to make it hit, I'm going to be like, not like, man, I'm taking my bow and going home, but like, let's fiddle with the narrative a little bit. Give and take. Give me bonuses. Give the enemy bonuses. Like, let's just have things happen. A wasted turn in nothing feels worse than a wasted turn. Mm-hmm. And like, I get, we've all had it where it's like, oh, I guess I'll move and I'll use my action to dash, and bonus action, I guess I don't know. I guess that's my turn. Like, there's that feeling of like, I can't do anything. Yeah. And I get my friends and other players give me shit because I will go, GM, may I approach the bench? And the GM's just like, oh, what now? And I'm like, so here's what the spell says. Mechanically and flavor-wise, can I do X? No is a perfectly valid answer, but here's the mental image of the cool thing that I want to do. And for the most part, the GM is like, yes and, or no but, or like they follow all the improv rules, and they're like, okay. And something I like to do, if somebody approaches me, is I go, yes, but you'll have to upcast it. Or there's a caveat, there's a trade-off. I will let you break the rules for a cost, because ultimately that balance is really important, because I want you to do cool things. I want my players to feel like badasses when they can. Because that also means when I'm a dickhead DM and I take those badass moments away from them, it sucks. It feels so bad when they pull out their best move and they get shat on. Like, I want you to look like a badass, and then the wizard pops up and just power word kills you in the fucking nose, and they're just like, fuck! And now it's a panic because the guy's dead on the ground surrounded by all these enemies because he charged in by himself. Now what do? Now what's the trade-off? And like, the stakes change and keeping things moving and dynamic.
Yeah, but that is then playing a game that is more interesting than a war game. That is actually creating a story that is worth watching and worth listening to, because it's not fun if I am, above level 10 and I can kill anything that I want, and then it's boring. Then where are we doing?
Where do we go? What do we do?
Right.
That's why every D&D game, the joke is like, level 1, kill a rat. Level 20, kill God. Every single campaign hits the, like, I need to overthrow some deity, because D&D has this, like, perfectly linear power creep of, like, it's fucking rise over run, 1-to-1, just and off we go. And there's no, at a certain point, it's like, I can do whatever. So why do I care? And what are the stakes? And that's where you have to get the players invested. Because if the players just want to kill shit, eventually you're going to run out of big shit for them to kill. Or they run into something that they physically can't kill and they feel like it's unfair. And you're like, you got to kill God. And if you go nose to nose with God, you cease to exist. You will be obliterated from whatever reality you're in. Bye-bye. Unless you're prepared. And for the most part, they're going to be riding that high of I just killed 3 dragons in a single fight, and that's it. Like you lose that sense of scale at a certain point.
I think that's interesting that we all, as we level up, just want to kill God. Like, can we just take a step back and that's feels a little some way. I'm not a therapist, so let me just start there. But if we all agree that we want to kill God, maybe we have conversations outside of Christianity as a normative,
or like kill a god. But they're all like facets of the same. They're all facets of a higher power. And what does that say about us? That we want nothing more than to shake the reins that a higher power has on us, perceived or otherwise. Are we just taking back whatever we're using this fantasy game where we can do whatever we want to kill the thing that doesn't let us do what we want? What does that tell us about us as people? Because okay, all right, hang on.
Yeah. I know where I want to go with this. You can go wherever you want. Okay.
RPGs as a whole are escapist fantasies. They have always been, once you get out of the tactical war game, it is about being somewhere and being something that we aren't. Whether that is to express our personality differently, express gender differently, try on different parts of ourselves that we don't necessarily like or want to show off. We want to show those things off in a world without consequence, or where the consequences are limited to 3 hours a week around a table.
Right. Or the consequences aren't myself.
There's a buffer, right? There's a barrier between the fantasy and the reality, but we can still learn things in the fantasy and carry them over when we choose. And I'm not the first person to have said that. I can't pretend to be the first person who said that. But that is something that when players, and if all we get out of it is a sense of control of our situation or power over things in the world that we are normally powerless against, who am I to say no? Who am I to run into that and be like, no, that's not how my game works? Because that's not fun. That's not what we're all here to do, because the players are here for certain things, and finding out what your players want is a great way to keep your plot interesting while having them fighting rats for 6 levels. Like, it doesn't matter what they're doing as long as the players and the characters give a shit. They'll do whatever, and they will make it interesting and fun, and they'll play off of each other because you've given them something for their characters to latch onto.
Right.
Regardless of whatever level they are. And giving them that, let them explore, let them surprise you. Getting them to surprise you is my favorite feeling as a GM. Not even like, haha, I've crafted this trap, but just like, what do you want to do? And they're like, I want to personal pet peeve. I hate when people are like, well, let me tell you about my D&D session, because ultimately I care less than you do. Because you were there and you have the emotional connection to the character. And unless you can sell me on why this badass moment is really cool emotionally and like beyond just, I killed 7 goblins in a single shot, I'm less interested.
Right.
But everyone's campaign matters so much to them.
Right. Yeah.
But, I love giving my players items and MacGuffins and just leaving them there. And just being
what's
like,
your favorite item you've given?
Oh, shit.
You can't talk your way out of this one.
Okay,
I stopped you mid-tracks.
Good job.
Thank you.
Currently, my favorite item I've given.
No, I want the past version. I want the past, and then the present, and then the future.
Okay.
Okay.
In the past, I'm going to say it's my favorite because I learned the most from it. It was a terrible item. It was in my second campaign. Players were in a gladiatorial pit, and you could take an action on your turn and dig in the sand. And if you found something in the sand, it magically connected to you until you killed the thing in the gladiator pit or left. So everyone got to dig around, find some stuff. Our bard picks up an accordion. This is the devil's accordion because the devil loves polka. And he's like, I want to identify it. or like detect magic on it, whatever. Natural 20. Cool. You learn everything this does. This is Asmodeus's accordion, and it can you can play 4 songs. Song of Joy, Song of Wrath, Song of Life, Song of Death. Because I was a young GM who did not know how to balance things, I went, cool. Song of Joy. Everyone around you has to make a save or they dance. Basically, Otto's irresistible dance. It'll be great. Song of Wrath. Everybody attacks the nearest humanoid. Just whoever it is, they punch them in the face. If you're touching the accordion or the player, you're safe. Song of Life can bring somebody back from the dead for a minute or heal a bunch of HP. Song of Death. Everyone in a half-mile radius circle dies. I never thought the player would push that button.
What? You gave him the button to push.
He did. I did. It is my dear friend Devin, who I'm still friends with to this day. And he played it in the middle of a crowded city square because the woman that he thought was his lover was captured on top of a tower and about to be executed. So he pulls out the accordion and goes, everyone put a hand on me now. And he found, to his credit, an accordion cover of Dust in the Wind and committed absolute genocide.
No.
That led to a very stern conversation among the players about changing alignments and why we do the things we do. And it caused a lot of tension. And to the point where I had to pull Devin aside and we talked about it. I was like, I think this character needs to retire because of the choice that he made. And he was like, I get it. I'm a little annoyed that this is causing so much friction. How do we do this? And so Asmodeus basically popped out of the ground and was like, hey, you play pretty good. Join my band. It's not an ask. And just pulled him into hell and they're playing polka music forever. Which was a great way to set the character aside. But it also was like, one, balance your fucking magic items, guys. Like, don't just say, it's this big of a range. And also, don't be afraid to go back and change it. And also, you can, like, let me get you everything this item does later. Or a natural 20 is not always a success, especially on a skill check. Mm-hmm. I can tell you, this is Asmodeus's instrument. And as a later player, I could have been like, it's his instrument. What does it do? I don't know. Find me an accordion, cover a song, and play it, and I'll tell you what that song does. And, like, build into it a little more. So I learned a lot from that item, which is why it's my favorite at the time, because those are lessons I needed to learn at the time. Mm-hmm. Did it ruin that campaign? Yes. Wholeheartedly. And stopped that game. That was one of the last games that I played with that group. Shortly after was the Harry Potter campaign. Which I will say, 2 magic users and 2 muggles, A+ way to run a Harry Potter game. 10 out of 10. Because the muggles would not apparate under any circumstances. And so the wizards were like, no, you need to come with us. And they're like, I'll walk, it's fine. I have got a hippogriff, it's fine. We'll do our thing. Current favorite magic item is a shadow dagger. It was the Threadripper. It is the knife that a rip-off of one of the 3 fates, the oldest fate, uses to sever lifelines and end lives. The players found it at level 4, and if you kill an innocent with it, it grants you a wish. And they knew this, and the player who picked it up was the most impulsive player I've ever seen. And that dagger rode in his pocket until our lore bard was like, no. We need to do a ritual and get, I understand what this dagger can do. I'm accepting the responsibility of this dagger and keeping it, she lost an entire attunement slot from, level 5 to level 12 or 14 holding this dagger because she was willing to accept and hold on to that. And so when she's talking to an Aboleth, she's talking to an incarnation of chaos itself. They're all like, where'd you get that knife? And she's like, I found it. Don't worry about it. And they're like, I'll do literally whatever for that knife. And she's like, no, not for... And, testing that character. And then they finally met Umshara, the woman who owns it. And that was a bartering chip that she used to get them out of trouble. And she was like, this is yours. Do you want it back? Give my friend his last breath back. Thanks. Bye. And like stood up to this absolutely older and more powerful entity and said, I have something you want. I will make an even trade for you. And did not bluster. And it was such a good way to drive character growth as she realized more and more that because both as a player and as a character, she was always nervous. She was always like, well, whatever everybody wants to do. And then she got a chance to stand up and be like, she's 5'4", and she's with a 7-foot Goliath and a 6'8" like paladin dragonborn. And she stood up and she's like, no. Let me have this conversation. I am going to lead this charge. And it was both mechanically, it was a lot of fun because it was a really strong dagger that they just never used, but it was always there for me to like pull on every once in a while.
Yeah.
But it also enabled the character to have it supplemented the character's arc and pushed it in a really interesting way that I could have gotten to a similar end point, but not necessarily the moment of I'm staring down one of the three Fate sisters and going, we're going to have a nice conversation over tea. And we're going to talk as equals, not as I'm a mere mortal. Respectfully, ma'am, I would like to have this tea as equals. And just like such a good moment that could not have gone that direction without that item in play.
Amazing. I was wondering, we've been talking about D&D for a while. You recently said that you bought a shit ton of books before the pod started.
Oh, yes, I did. I have so many books.
What are you excited about? What's the first one you want? I know it's probably all of them, but like, please, for the sake of my editing, reduce it.
So for the editor in the back, right now, Rowan Rook and Deckard is putting out some of the coolest, I do not work for them. I'm not affiliated with them. They put out some of the most bananas shit you've ever seen. One of my current home game is running Spire, which is a game of a drow resistance in an Aelfir run city where, like we were talking about, D&D is on that like linear exponential growth, or like that linear growth curve. Spire is inverted. You start out pretty strong, you get more and more powerful abilities, but you are literally an insurgency. You are fighting a oppressive racist government that has essentially enslaved your entire race, and you are just doing your best to survive. And as you join they call it the ministry, which is your sort of resistance group, you join your ministry, no one can know, because your neighbors, your families will sell you out to protect themselves or for leverage. And so you're on a reverse trajectory of like, you most likely will not survive this. You will be dead. You may be worse than dead. You may be captured. You may be exiled. You might have to sell out your friends to even kind of a modicum of life at the moment. And like one of my players got shot in the chest, and I was like, cool, you have a week to live, because of like, or like shot, fully dead. Again, there's drow, a lot of spiders, a lot of like really cool evocative drow imagery. She's currently being puppeted by spiders because she's a midwife and she is like in charge of the drow hatchlings. And so she's like, the player's like, I want a week to live to pass on my knowledge before I die. It's like, cool. So we have one session left. At the end of the session, you are dead. You have to do everything you can in the intervening couple of days. But it's the way they handle actions and the way they handle, you don't have HP, you have resistances. So like if you get punched in the face, you take damage to your blood stat. You take stress to that stat. And every time you take stress, you roll a d10. If I roll as a GM, roll a d10. If I roll under your stress level, you suffer fallout. The fallout can be depending on how much stress you have. So you might be bleeding. If you have a low amount of fallout, you took a bad fall and you kind of caught yourself on something and you're starting to bleed pretty heavily, you start taking accruing stress. But if you take it to your mind, you might just have a blank period of time where the GM and the other players figure out what you did and they never tell you. And it just comes up in the story. You might have, you don't have any money. Like, you've just lost you have blood, mind, shadow, which is like your secrets, your standing, your sort of social standing, your money. Like, you might take a lot of stress to silver, and you're just, during the day, you're a regular bookkeeper. But your shop burns down in an unrelated incident because why would oh, your shop just burned to the ground. Sorry, dude, you've lost your main source of income because of what you're doing. You can't prove that anybody did it, but it is that reverse trajectory, and it's fighting as hard as you can for as long as you can, and trying to make a difference and trying to make a change, which I think we can all speak to being a positive thing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Heart runs off a similar system, but you are traveling. Phrasing it sounds weird because Rowan, Rook, and Deckard have some of the craziest world building I've ever read. At the base of the spire, there is the heart. It is a hole in reality, and when you pass through it, the heart knows why you're there and what you want. But like any good eldritch extra-dimensional horror, it doesn't know how to give it to you. And so the way you level up in heart is you go, hey, these are character beats, literally as part of your class. These are character beats that I want to hit. These are things I want my character to experience so I can level up. You can pick one, and then the game literally encourages the other players to choose another one because they want to see your character go through a thing. And the more severe the consequence, the better of an upgrade you get, the better of a level up you get. And the heart is trying to give you these things, and you're trying to build community and build safety and havens in this heart that is constantly changing and constantly trying to kind of kill you. And every single max level ability, like your zenith abilities, as they're called, every single one of them removes you from the game. That is the last act you do in the game is your zenith ability. One of them, out of, like, there's 3 per class, and there's like 5 or 6 classes. One of them has you retiring and living a happy long life. The rest of them are all suitably badass moments to go out in.
What is wrong with you? Why are you such a sad boy?
All of these
Why are you
games.
so sad?
Okay. So
how much time do we got?
I'm so sorry.
I had therapy today. I'm in a good spot. I love my characters. All of my, like, most of my characters, if they die at the end of the story, especially one-shots, perfect. Throw the character, like, let the character do what it needs to do to the nth degree. One-shot characters are kind of a caricature because they go, here's one thing that I do, and I'm going to do that as hard as I can until I perish. And that's such a good, like, character death or ascension or retirement. Like, I never want to play the same one-shot character twice because I want to experience what that character is there to show me. If I make a character and I go, I'm interested in this, I want to dig into, why do I care? Why does this character interest me? The last time I played a monk, I was like, I don't like monks. They've never been fun for me. So I built a hand of healing monk with a constitution of 6, and it was the most fun I've ever had. He had 72 HP at level 12, and I've never had more fun. Damn. Because he was such a glass cannon, and he just healed people. And he wasn't even very good at it. But he got to experience the world in a different way. And when he died, everybody was in tears. Because we loved Brother Breathe. Because of what he did and how he did it. Having a character die in a way that's significant. And if I die in a boring-ass way, then I really hope the rest of the players step up and, like, I want to give them a match to light whatever bonfire they've been building. I want to give them impetus. I want to just kick them in the pants and say, I'm dead, dude, figure it out, and let them go. Does that mean I want to be remembered or an inspiration to people when I'm gone? Probably. But who doesn't, right?
Rudderless men? I don't know. Sorry.
Other shameless plug is Never Going Home. a game about eldritch horrors in the First World War, particularly unleashed at the Battle of the Somme, which is like you are a squad of soldiers trying to do your thing, and you will fucking die, but it's how well do you push through and complete your mission. And another one that I love is Misspent Youth, which is another game about you build an authority, and then you are crusty punks trying to overthrow it by using the different things. Are you the smart kid? Are you the fast kid? Are you the badass? Do you get away with trouble because your parents are rich or because you're not part of the system? But as you're standing up to these oppressors, you're using these different facets of your character. Like, I'm fast. I'm going to be the first one out of my chair. I'm going to run over and I'm going to do all this. Great, cool. Roll. You roll 2d6 and you claim that number. The authority, if 7 is not claimed, the authority automatically claims the number 7 and then another number. And if you roll the same number as the authority, the players lose. If the players roll the same number that another player claimed, the players win. But if you roll a number that the authority claimed and you lose, you can literally sell out one of your traits and go from being, the daredevil to just being a masochist. You just want to do things to feel something. Instead of you're doing it because it's fun and dangerous, you're doing it because without it you don't feel anything, or you're a nihilist. And it fundamentally changes the character to make those choices. And the RP that has come from those moments is, without a doubt, like, I couldn't tell a player how does that make you feel and have them come up with an answer that was as satisfying in the moment as it was to have a player find out that his mom ratted out his dad so she could get an extra addition into a lottery to be taken off planet, and he went from an optimist to a cynic. This 12-year-old kid found out his dad was shipped off to God knows where so his mom could get a second seat up to the lovely space city, and just watching that happen. And he was just like, whatever, Mom. The mom's like, no, honey, I did it for you. And he's like, I wouldn't want to go with you anyway, and just walked out of the room. And I was like, so fucking cold. I love it, but I'm being a crying mother who's trying to get her kid back. And like, it's so good. Misspent Youth, they just released a second edition, Fall in Love Not in Line by Fragging Unicorns Games. Mwah, 10 out of 10. Absolutely love it. Great for conventions.
Dude, we need to play more games.
I got that shelf. You can kind of see some of it over in the corner of my screen. Too many games. Too many games. Also, shameless plug, Atlas is Missing. Hard to do on stream, but very, very good.
Alex, you had a...
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
I've been dying
Everybody
to play that
attacked
game.
me all at the same time. I played...
Like, emotionally, or like...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I was everybody's enemy. And as somebody who is not wanting to be anybody's enemy, I had to deal with my feelings afterwards.
Damn.
I got to be the heel, which is not something I normally do in a game. Because Alice is Missing is so much about being teenagers. It's so easy to play teenagers. I love, like, Masks is so good, Misspent Youth is so good, because you can make bad decisions and it makes sense. All of your decisions make perfect sense when you're angry. And, Alice is Missing is such an emotional roller coaster every time you play it. And it is so fucking good. If you're watching this or listening to this, get a copy, get 4 friends that you're ready to be emotionally vulnerable with, and get ready to not talk for 90 minutes until you're done crying. That's it. That's the pitch.
That's it. That's I think it's accurate pitch. It's absolutely. There's not enough time in the day, Adrian. I'm so sorry. Proposal.
No.
We get our D&D B&B.
Yeah, the D&D B&B.
The D&D and B?
The D&D and B.
The B&D and B.
You can't just keep switching those.
I'm fine.
Your light's not.
God damn.
Angry
It's not
light.
made to last. It's made to survive.
Same.
All right, what were we saying about the D&D B&B?
We have the D&D B&B. That's our job. That's our new job.
Yes.
And then we just get to play TTRPGs all day long. And that's it. That's our job now.
All right, I see no downfall. We just gotta buy some lot and just do it.
Buy some land. Yes. Commune with commune with us.
Commie with the commune.
Partake. I will partake.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. As a millennial, the only way I'm getting housing is when the market collapses, and it's whatever house I can keep people out of with a baseball bat. Like, that's the only way I'm going to ever own property.
There's a lot of vacant lots. I don't think you just gonna keep them out. Yeah.
I live outside of Washington, D.C. There's not a lot of those here. They're very nice houses that are 7 figures at a minimum. And it hurts my soul.
Yep.
Yikes.
Yep.
Upside, when the nuclear Armageddon comes, I'm either perfectly fine or dead before it matters.
True.
Doesn't matter.
True.
Any sort of end time crisis, I'm out. I'm not trying. I'm not taking chances. I'm not working on it. Nope. I'm just.
So many people are out. I'm down to go down gloriously.
I'm not.
I'm in the golden brown and crispy zone, man. I'm like a pizza. Like, that's it.
No, I'm not trying.
Anyway, quick to a positive conversation change away from the end times.
I was going to tell you that I know one of my friends in my group I would not want in because I know he'd sell me out for a fucking pine cone to wipe his ass. Like, I don't want him in my group, my doomsday group.
I feel like a pine cone is a terrible trade to wipe your ass with anyways.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he would
at
anything.
least you could wipe his ass, like, better than the pine cone. You yourself could wipe his ass better than the pine cone.
The true test of friendship. Are you better than a pine cone?
Not for that guy. Not for that guy. We're friends, but we're not
for that
guy. Positive note. Are you going to PAX U?
I will be.
Oh my gosh! All these people we're interviewing.
I am. It is a 3-hour train ride for me, and I love trains. I'm a sucker for mass transit. It is a great time.
Oh, do you have the tism?
The tism?
I'm sorry.
Don't both of you come at me, all right? I thought this was an
That's your
even
dream.
Yeah. Yes. I could come up with like reasons that I like them, and all that's going to do is reinforce the point. Probably.
Yeah.
I got a 70 on that test, which is like a pass. It's a C. It's a passing grade. So I guess.
I think I got like something very low, or whatever is not spicy. That's where I got. What is that? 90?
It's a 90. Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, speaking of, no, that giant ass fucking train is coming to the Dallas Fort Worth area.
What giant ass fucking train?
Also, that.
What?
Boy.
What?
Clip that, please. Somebody, anybody.
What? Wait.
Yes, the giant ass fucking train. Thank God.
Oh, no.
It's coming to Dallas. Tell me more. I'm so excited.
I'm all
It doesn't
douched
help
up and
because
ready
its
to
name
go.
is Big Boy.
Jesus.
Big boys coming to Texas. Sunday.
Dude, but Texas does need a fucking a fucking rail system because it's too fucking big.
Everybody needs a rail system. I took the train to Chicago. It took me 18 hours, and it was not something I recommend without getting a sleeper car.
Mm-hmm.
It was cheaper than a flight, cheaper than a car. Oh boy.
Oh, I remember going on a train, and it was just like, I'm too upright to fall asleep, and it's too, like, I don't know, this new environment's not conducive to me feeling comfortable enough to just sleep.
My problem was the guy next to me had to get up out of his chair. So I'm on the aisle. Guy on the inside seat, every 45 minutes had to stand up and go to the restroom.
Oh, yeah.
And he refused to change seats with me. I was like, my dude, every 45 minutes we gotta swap. He's like, no man, I gotta stay plugged in. I'm like, I will give you my, how long is your laptop charging cable? How long is your phone charging cable? Like, what the fuck, dude? He's like, I gotta stay plugged in. I'm like,
At what cost?
At what cost? Apparently mine, because I got about 2 hours of sleep on that train ride. I pulled into Chicago at about 6 a.m. and was like, I don't know how I got to my hotel for this wedding, because I don't remember calling an Uber, getting in the Uber, or getting coffee for my siblings when I got there, because they were like, oh, it's all hotel coffee, and I'm like, fine, I'm not having hotel coffee either. So I've got all my bags and an entire like carrier of coffees for my family, and I'm like, just hotel please, thank you, go away.
Understandable.
But yes, rail systems, invest in mass transit.
I got a friend who's working on that right now in the San Antonio area.
Ooh.
She posted about it, and I'm like more accessibility to the buses and personal transit for those who need like special appointments and stuff. I'm like,
yeah,
you're doing God's work. You're doing.
Yeah,
I'm glad I know you. You are a shining star in my life.
I mean, and that's something. Listen, DC Metro, love it to death. Is it on fire more often than not? Also, yes. Was there a website called ismetroonfire.com? Yes. It's been taken down now, but every day you would check it, and the answer was either yes or not yet. Those were the only two settings that website had.
Oh, that's pretty good.
But also, like, on an accessibility note, that's something that I've learned about, both from like my day job and also doing this, is like subtitles or like live captioning, because technically subtitles are done after the fact. But live captioning as an addition, or if you're doing pre-recorded, have captions. Put in the hour of work that it takes to put captions in, because it costs. Yes, it takes an hour of your time, but it does so much for so many people. And like, if you're doing live captioning, we started using Google Meet, which has decent live captions. It's not the best, because live captioning for a free piece of software, Google Meet gets the job done.
Right.
There are other, and it's nice because I can just have people open up Google Meet and join it, and it just auto generates, and they don't have to worry about it. But as a piece of software, as something that I would love to see more actual play folks do, is I just love them to do more with that, and just like, it's not hard. It just open up the door even a little bit for accessibility, and your audience will appreciate it. Because even if it's not there for me, because I don't need it, sometimes I'm not worried about the things that I need. I want everyone to have access to it. And a lot of that is because I live 20 minutes from Gallaudet University, one of the largest deaf schools in, I think, the U.S., and working in theater with deaf technicians and working with deaf designers and deaf actors is one of those things where it's like, subtitles cost me nothing. You know, just do it. And if people are like, oh, it's distracting, don't look. Just don't look at it. It's not there for you. If you can't just like listen, or you're looking at their faces or whatever, there's text moving, that's fine. If it's distracting for you, I'm sorry, but it's benefiting. The potential benefit is so much better. There were patrons at a show that I saw about a deaf Welsh sniper. What was the name of that show? Anyway, it's a musical about a deaf Welsh sniper. And there were super titles, there were subtitles, like everything you would need for that musical. And the amount of flack that this theater got from older patrons being like, I don't understand why there need to be all these words, because I can't watch the play because I'm reading the words. And they're like, are you reading the words because you can't hear what they're saying? Well, I guess. And like, they were literally like, this is here for everybody, because there are deaf actors, there are deaf performers. Like, this show needs to be accessible to everybody. That's our stance. And that's a stance that I think more places can do. Working with folks with dyslexia. Pick dyslexic friendly fonts. Build a list of them. There are lists all over the place. Just go, hi, here's my dyslexic friendly fonts. Hey, here's my content warning. We're running 5 horror one-shots right now. Before every stream, we go over the content warning with the cast. We go over content warnings on stream. There's a command to pull it up, and we talk about it before the game. Super simple safety shit that makes it immediately more accessible, and everyone's going to have a better time because of it. And that also, from a production standpoint, putting on the producer hat, it covers our ass. Because every cast member's filled out a consent form. And so if you come at me and go, hey, I didn't know this was going to be in here and I'm not comfortable with it, I can look at your consent sheet and say, cool, you said you were cool with it. I understand that may have changed, but here's a signed document saying you were cool with it. We'll talk about it more, but it's not immediately, please don't sue me, like, oh God. Establishing boundaries. We're back to where we started at the top of the show. Establish boundaries and make sure everyone's there for the same reason. If everyone is there and knows the stakes, we're all going to have a great time because everyone will feel comfortable and safe in that environment. And that is where the best magic happens, regardless of the game, regardless of the system. If everyone is comfortable or feels safe enough to be uncomfortable, it's going to be better for everybody.
Hell yeah. Alex, any last questions? We hit the hour mark.
No, I think that was absolutely lovely and delightful, and I appreciate you taking the time to come and talk to us.
Yeah, for sure. It was lovely meeting you guys at GenCon, and I can't wait to run into y'all at PAX Unplugged. Because hopefully I'm assuming, sorry, I should ask, are you guys going to PAX Unplugged?
Yes. I was going to talk to Alex about, do I need to buy a ticket or are we just going to wait?
Oh God, I don't know. We have 2 options, and currently I don't see anything in my emails, and I've been furiously checking. So probably ticket, probably.
Okay. No
I don't know when any of that's supposed to come out. I'll go check out when we're supposed to hear back from anything.
I also am really hoping to hear back because since the rest of my production team all lives in Pennsylvania, this is like the easiest con for them to get to. But no, again, the Airbnb idea is like every time I go, I'm the friend who shows up to every event with at least a deck of cards in my pocket. At the very least, I have a game of some sort because, surprise, surprise, it's hard for me to engage in small talk. It's really hard for me to stay focused and give a shit when it's like, oh yeah, here's what I do, blah, blah, blah. So, 2 questions. 1, do you consider Texas the Midwest?
No.
Okay, great. 2, have you heard of the game called Euchre?
I've heard of it.
Pause. You don't get to talk anymore. We need to wrap this up.
Sorry.
Next time you are on, then we can have this conversation.
Oh shit, there's a next time. Yes! Anyway, I'm so sorry. We'll get to that. We'll do the wrap up. I'm so sorry. I'll shut the fuck up now.
Where can they find you?
You can find me. I am at Hibberdagibbet on most social medias. Spell it like it sounds. I'll say it slower. Hibberdagibbet. I'm also at 5% Chance, at Chance5, because Twitter and the social medias are hard. Most of the time you will find us on Twitch at 5% Chance most Wednesdays and Fridays, running various TTRPGs of any make, flavor, size, or color. But yeah, that's really where we're at. Also, our VODs all get uploaded to YouTube. If you want to catch up on any of the short seasons, or if you want to watch wee baby-faced me figure out how the internet streaming works, because it's the first season's up and I haven't taken it down, even though I want to, because it is horrific. It is so bad.
Gem. It's an internet gem. Please keep it there forever. I watched the first episode.
It's such a dumpster fire. It feels like a home game, and it really brings the vibe of like we're a bunch of white dudes in our 20s that think we know what we're doing.
Welcome to my audition.
So good. It's
so bad.
It's so good. Thank you, dear listener, for joining us on another episode of Dungeons and Degrees. You can find us wherever pods are cast. Please rate, subscribe, give us 5 stars, whatever the fuck it is that your podcast thing needs to do. Don't rate us anything lower because that's just a dick move. If you really hate us, you can send us to your enemies. If you really love us, you can send us to your forced marriage partner. Wouldn't that be fun?
What the
you
fuck?
can also. I'm sorry. Are you neither one of you marriage of convenience? Okay. First
Common
of all,
law marriage isn't legal in Virginia.
it's not. I love you guys so much.
I'm a
That
guy.
joke's not for y'all. That joke is not for you. Then that's it. Just say that you're boring. You don't like reading romance, and then move on.
I don't like reading in general.
I don't like convenience in general.
You can also find us on Patreon. You can find us on all social medias. Send us a message. Let us know what you want to hear, what you don't want to hear. If you want to be on the podcast. If you don't want to be on the podcast, just let us know. Actually, if you have a hot take, just at me, and I will fight you in the streets. That's it.
All right. I forgot to tell. Well, never mind. Curtis will get it.
Curtis watched
Thanks so much.
show.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. My name's Adrian.
I'm Alex. He hasn't watched the show. He didn't finish.
He didn't watch.
Look at this
No.
right here.
And I'm
Now.
Curtis.
Yeah.
Go have some fun.
Boop, boop.